and I think they autograph some of the murals.
I've heard they did, but I wasn't
You weren't with them at that time?
At that particular time.
Okay. All right, and then did you transport them out to the,
Back to the airport?
Airport?
No, we had our afternoon guy do that.
okay.
I was done for the day.
But definitely part of sort of an important thing in Bay City history. You know, you think about it, probably the Bay City Rollers and Madonna are the two entertainers that have really benefited Bay City the most as far as publicity wise.
Mhm.
So I'm
Well,
hoping that,
96 too.
you know, we've got that
Yeah.
sculpture part that is going up. Kind of an interesting thing, Rick, that's happened here on the corner of First and Jefferson. One of those old buildings used to be a feed supply building.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
remember that.
That was my grandfather's.
Really? Wow. Well, Avram Golden has got a big project called the Jefferson Project to renovate that and put up a sculpture park. First sculpture is already up there. I'm hoping they'll do one that kind of addresses the Bay City Rollers and Madonna. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but the dart is kind of the symbol of Bay City Rollers and Bay City, and of course Madonna.
Yeah, one of the
the
ads,
dancer.
one of the ads that she came down with bacterial infection before she hits Detroit.
Oh, the tour.
And the same night Smokey Robinson is performing downtown at the Vox Theater.
Was that going to be the same night?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Gives you an
probably going to
option
be
now,
pushed
Mike.
back.
Mike has tickets to Madonna, so he might be able to see Smokey now.
It hasn't been rescheduled yet, has it, or?
I
we don't even know if
haven't
it's
heard.
canceled?
No, they haven't done anything.
I'm on vacation, I've been offline.
Yeah.
I try to, but I sneak a peek at, okay, let's see how the Michigan
Well,
Music History page is.
yeah, the first one was July 15th, so you know that's going to be canceled for
Yeah.
sure. So, yeah, it might be rescheduled.
Yeah, this is August 12th, I think. is-
Yeah, that's what I kind of remember is
Right.
the August one. And we've had some good music about it.
Yeah, now you were down in Detroit as well, did you?
Yeah, CKLW.
Wow, powerhouse station.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
We used to get requests from Daytona Beach, Florida. That's how far it's,
Yeah,
what do they say, 26 states and 6 provinces or whatever?
well, that was real important for 96 Steers to get picked up by CKLW.
Mhm.
I don't think it would have been number one had that not happened.
Well, WSAM added the song first,
Oh, right.
even though Bob Dell's from TAC's picture is on the album.
Yeah,
But
right.
as question mark told me, take this with a grain of salt, that Bob Dell actually threw the record away. He threw it in the garbage. He didn't like it.
At first.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Then SAM added it back in. Oh, let's see. I just put it on too. Maybe June of 1966, and it
Yeah.
finally hit Detroit about two months later. And in I think it's September or
October
October.
29th.
It hit number one.
Yeah, it took a long time because it was picked up by Cameo.
Mhm.
It had already been a big hit, you know, in the Tri-City area, but it had kind of died off, you know, as songs do, you know, back in those days.
Especially on the label that was on.
Well, right.
Once it's picked up by Cameo, bingo, now you got your national exposure.
Exactly.
The same thing happened with Calvin Colony.
Right.
It's true. We still got Butcher on here too.
Oh, yeah.
So when did you get a job at CKLW? What year was that?
The fall of 1970 through the fall of 1971. And that's when I got married, so I came back to Bay City and worked a couple of months at WKNX for the first time. And then I went to WFDF in Flint. But all during that time, the management over at CK said we're going to buy a sister station in Ottawa, Ontario. And we want you to be the music director. Jim Jackson, who was another announcer at CK, to be the program director. Bob Lusk was our production manager, and who also mastered many of the songs for Hot Wax and Invictus Records.
Well,
And one of the newsmen, Steve Mailey. So we all went to Ottawa. It's a spotless city. You know, we had one DJ from Buffalo who came to Ottawa, and he got sick. He said, this air's too clean. Not even a cigarette butt on the curb. I saw, you know, but it was a lot of fun.
And how long did you stay in Ottawa then?
From 1972 till 1974.
Okay, you were right in the, kind of like the cusp of when rock really took off
Yeah.
and became a big, big business.
Yeah, we did shows in Ottawa where I have pictures somewhere of the shows we did in Ottawa with Helen Reddy, and who's very short. Anne Murray, who can beat the daylights out of anybody. She's a big girl. But it was great. You know, and we meet the guys from the 5-man electrical band who did signs. Never met Paul Anka though. Seen his house.
What was the cost? What was the station that in Ottawa?
CFGO.
CFGO.
Yep.
Okay.
1440 with 50,000 watts.
So it was the 50,000 watt too. Wow, what a powerhouse.
Canadian laws are a little different, except you still have to play your 30% Canadian content.
Right. But there was a lot of pretty strong Canadian
Mm-hmm.
musicians and acts around that time too.
But being a music director, you haven't heard the stuff we didn't play. I'm not going to say anymore.
Well, you gotta say something. Come, give it now. You
There-
can put it all up there.
Some of those were terrible.
We-
and the Canadian pressings. I have a buddy of mine in Detroit, a record collector, who swears by the Canadian pressings of records. He says they're the best. They sound like a tin can. But, you know,
Yeah, to each their own, I
to
guess.
each his own. So Rosalie used to mail us the U.S. pressings of them,
Oh, okay.
which sounded better than all the other radio stations. Boy, it's the same song, but they sound different.
Yeah, well, you worked with a real legend at CKLW and Rosalie Trombley. What can you tell us about Rosalie?
She's a sweetheart. If she liked a song, regardless of whether it was a hit or not, she put it on. For instance, Wildflower by Skylar. That was an album cut. She forced Capitol Records to release it. She forced MCA to release Benny and the Jets. And she told Elton John on the phone, this is what you have to do. This is a hit record. She talked to Randy Bachman how to edit Taking Care of Business to make it a hit record. He did it, boom, million.
Yeah. Well, there's that famous Bob Seger song, Rosalie,
Oh, yeah.
about Rosalie Trombley. Kind of a, I don't know.
It's,
do you know the story behind that? Why he recorded that?
Yeah, well, he wrote it for her, kind of,
As a,
just to poke fun a little bit.
Oh, really?
And she caught it,
okay.
you know, and she still didn't play it. As a matter of fact, not many stations in Michigan actually played that song. But no, Bob and Rosalie were pals, as well as Alice Cooper.
Okay.
You know, Alice she loves.
Okay. So would you say CKLW was important in breaking Alice Cooper with 18?
Yes, and a few other ones. Many million sellers were broken out of CKLW, these eyes.
Guess who?
Yeah, of course PTO. I'm just talking Canadians here.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Murray, and a lot of others.
What particular albums did you get to spin for the first time that was like, there it is, the first time you heard it?
My first gold record was actually Indiana Wants Me by Ardeen Taylor. When, according to the IRAA, if you're one of the first 5 radio stations in the country to play the record, and it sells 1 million, you get the gold record.
Wow, that's pretty
So
cool.
I have about 30 of them I collected over the years. That, let's see, Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast, Hold the Line by Toto, Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. I got on those way before CKLW got on them. As a matter of
That was
fact,
when you were in Ottawa.
yeah, no.
No?
I was at WKNX when Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. Johnny Mathis and Denise Lee. I called Rosie. I said, "You got to play this." I says, "This is a hit record." I've heard this from you many times. This is a hit. Jumped on it. Boom, right to number one.
Wow, there we go.
Told the line, where were you at?
Hold the Line by Toto. I
Hold the
was
Line.
at KNX in Saginaw.
And you were one of the first to play that.
Yep.
In Saginaw, I'm
Yeah.
breaking the Toto tune.
Let's see,
I
brother.
like that.
Brother Louie by the Stories. Little Willie by the Sweet. Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast by Wayne Newton. I had them all on my wall one day, and they're stored. And I actually forget what
I know.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that has to be very gratifying, though, to to play a record and then see it be that successful, and know that you played an important part in it.
we broke the record.
Yeah.
Kiss You All Over by Exile. Now, see, now
Oh.
they're coming back.
Kiss You All Over, that's huge.
Yeah.
Still, yacht rock.
Yeah. And they were in Bay City a few years ago. Years and years ago, they were in Bay City.
Now, is there any stories, and I'll give you, for instance, Jim Bauer came on here and says, man, Dick Wagner and Alice came running to the studio and let me play this song before it even got big. Did you get to do any of that kind of stuff where you got to sneak peek and preview anything?
No, not really. But Dick Wagner used to come to the radio station all the time. Him and Dyer and Fabian and myself and Wagner all in the same studio.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Man.
Tried to get a word in edgewise between those three. But, it was hilarious. But back in the day, back in the 60s, when local bands cut a record, and I remember it as people are requesting, you get 100 calls a day for this song. You're not even playing it yet. And I said, what is this? Who